Hey everybody, welcome to the stream. Oh my god, we got a lot of good talking. Uh, hey everybody, welcome to the stream. I am currently, let me just go ahead and, I just need to turn on the volume a little bit because it's a little bit too loud. Hold up. Yeah, that's more relaxing. Yeah, so basically I got my headphones in, I'm playing video games in my room at an Airbnb. I was told I need to stop making noise. I've been making too much noise in my room. I don't know which, snitch-ass motherfuckers snitched on me. But yeah, someone was not satisfied with the amount of volume that was coming from my room. They were set. They wanted less, I should say. So anyway, here we are in beautiful, sunny Los Santos. We're driving with Michael. Michael has a nice little whip. We took it from the guy. He saw us. He saw us grab his own whip, and he was scared and he ran away. Like, of course, he. So anyway, guys, feeling pretty good about myself right now. I'll tell you why. Because, you know, last night, Friday night, I went out with my support worker. A new support worker is a buddy of mine, and he took me to the Easter show. It kind of sucked, but at least we got to go out, see some new sights, get some exercise in, and I also did my laundry, which was really useful. Someone said, "What's up?" Someone hollered at me. So anyway, yeah, we got some things done. Today I went swimming. I did a swimming lesson, and I was really frustrated because I arrived late to the swim lesson, like literally 20 minutes late because I caught the wrong train, so it kind of fucked me a little bit. Sometimes when you catch the wrong train in Sydney, you just get up at the next stop, but sometimes, the next stop is like literally 10 minutes away, so it's a bit of an inconvenience. It's witchy, but it's alright. This is literally my third ever swim lesson in my life. Pretty sure. So, oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Y'all, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to hurt y'all. Anyway, yes, I swam after the lesson for a little bit, and I chilled in the jacuzzi. And then what did I do? Oh yeah, I think I caught the Uber home. That's right, I did. I caught an Uber home because I saw the train, and it was like 40 minutes away. I'm like, oh, I'm wait 40 minutes from the train station. I was feeling really sleepy. I kind of passed out in the Uber for a little bit. And here I am. I'm home, and I didn't really do much today. Before the pool, actually, I did do two productive things. Number one, I went to Office Works, and I got some supplies, including a folder, eraser, sharpener, just, basic shit. And then I went to Macquarie University, went to the library, took a little nap at the library as well. I'm a little sleepy today, keep you sleepy, whatever. And then I read some books. I read some book about gifted people, and I was like, yeah, I kind of relate to this. Like, I do believe that in some ways I am a gifted person. I know this might sound arrogant, but it's just, it's just the traits involved. The traits involved include, I think it was like perseverance, creativity was probably one of them, like nonconformity, and a bunch of others. I don't remember the full traits. Yeah, so today I also just sat down and wrote some notes about different room runners, like room runners in comedy shows in Sydney, and I put myself out there today. I put myself out there twice. I emailed comedy show people for a room that apparently isn't that great, but it's okay. So I emailed them and sent out my recent footage of me performing in Newcastle, in which I crushed. And I also emailed this girl in America who wants an editor. Now, she posted on her Discord, I need an editor. So I messaged her initially on Discord, and she didn't respond. And then I just, went ahead and looked her up on Instagram. I mean, she has the same username, so I looked her up, I just found her. And then I messaged her by the email mentioning her Instagram. So that helps. Yeah. Her name is, I forgot her name, actually, but she does some pretty funny content, I suppose. Well, we'll see, man. I do see myself as a pretty talented editor, I'm solid, but, there's always room for improvement, and I think it is a matter of, when it rains, it pours, once I establish myself as a proper editor, then it'd be a lot easier for me to get, gigs and stuff, yeah, so it'd be good. You know, and I am in progress, obviously. I'm currently studying media, so I'm in the break, the TAFE break. And when I come back from break, I'll continue my studies and probably learn a few lessons about Premiere Pro and, you know, how to manage my workflow and stuff. It'll be good. Hmm. Yeah, according to the guy, like at the Airbnb, he said you're not supposed to make noise after 10 p.m. I feel like this is a little bit of a, you know, like a strange guideline, but what time is it now? So it's 9:57, so I'm assuming you can still talk. Like I'm deliberately like talking at a moderate volume. I suppose you can still hear me, of course, but yeah, I mean in general, like I have a pretty loud voice. I do vocal warm-ups every day, so I don't really need to try and project. I'm already projecting just by default, you know. Yeah, man. So you know, when you put yourself out there, at first it kind of sucks, right? Because there's no like reward for it. Like when I sent out that email to the comedy booking people, I got no response. Yeah. When I sent out that email to the girl looking for an editor, I got no response. Yeah. But you know, shit takes time, bro. And after a while, you just go, okay, well, let's do it again, and let's reach out again. Let's reach out to different people, and then you know, and then we can systemize it. We can automate it, hopefully, so that you know, sending the emails becomes you know less and less difficult, and you know, more like just you know, just habitual. Because yeah, with comedy, you know, like sending emails, reaching out to people is part of the challenge, is part of the grind, yeah. And if you're like sensitive to rejection, like me, you know, you might be tempted to just stick with the open mics, which I kind of have been for a while. I was stuck with the open mics, and you know, it's just you know, it's unfortunate because like I do have like trauma and stuff, yeah. So it's not like I think of rejection as like an issue, like intellectually, because from an intellectual standpoint. I totally understand, like, that rejection isn't a big deal. But, you know, like, my body and my brain, you know, like, they process rejection in a different way because of the way I was brought up. So it's like they treat it almost like an emergency, you know? But it isn't. But, you know, we'll try to figure out how to work around it, yeah? But yeah, I think with Sydney, Australia, where I am right now, you know, there's a mix of scarcity and abundance. Like, there's an abundance, for example, of people who want to see live comedy, but there's a scarcity of really solid comedians. So, unfortunately, what happens is, like, you know, someone will start a new room, and they'll book, like, a bunch of comics they know or they like, and usually they're pretty fucking mediocre. The audience will come, they'll give them a chance, the show sucks, and they just don't want to see comedy again. Because, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't just influence their perception of that show, it influences their perception of comedy in Australia in general. And honestly, when you ask anyone, you go, hey, what do you think about Australian comedy? Like, they'll kind of laugh at your face and go, what do you mean Australian comedy? There's no comedy industry here. And in a way, they are right. There isn't. But there is. It's just, you know, it's mostly geared towards, like, the US guys, really. Like, I would say it's a lot easier to make money in Australian comedy if you're from America. And, you know, you just go in here with a tour, you know, because you have a built-in audience from doing Rogan or whatever. You know, it's much easier to do that than to perform, you know, for peanuts at the fucking Comedy Store. I don't know what the Comedy Store currently pays you, right? But I imagine it's nowhere near what you'd make, you know, selling like $85 tickets to Enmore like Theo Vaughn did a couple of years ago. Or, you know, like, you know, I think the prices might have gone up or something. Yeah. Norman was here recently, possibly last year, and I didn't see him. I just, you know, like, I don't mind Rogan. Sorry, I don't mind Norman. It's just that it's getting a little repetitive for me. Like, I watched his recent special, you know, and I did laugh. I laughed a bunch of times, but I turned it off after 17 minutes in. It's like an hour, bro. Like, so, you know what I mean? If you lose my attention after 17 minutes, you know, that kind of implies that you're, you know, you're getting a little repetitive. And Norman is absolutely repetitive. He's like one of the most repetitive comedians that I've ever seen. Now, when I saw him live in Shanghai in 2017, he was repetitive then too, but somehow he still managed to make it like more fresh, I guess. So in my mind, his quality has gone downhill a little because I don't know, like outside of stand-up comedy jokes, he's really like a very uncreative guy. Like, I've tried to just absorb whatever content he makes outside of stand-up, and it all kind of sucks. Like, Tuesdays with Stories is good. We Might Be Drunk is very good. You know, his random, like content, or when he's trying to be doing random Patreon stuff, it's just not that interesting to me. You know what I mean? Like, he's a really bland guy. Like, I hate to say it because, you know, he's a cool comedian. He's a nice person. I know he's a nice person. But fuck, he's blander than cheese. He's blander than fucking square sliced cheese. He has no fucking personality. You know, and he has stories, and occasionally he'll tell you a cool story, like, oh, you know, like I was raised by a transgender prostitute, Louisiana, or whatever, but after you go through those stories, it's like, okay, but what else have you done? It's like it just kind of boils down to getting drunk and trying to get laid, right? And I guess the recent baby stuff, that's interesting, but not really. A lot of people have kids, man. It's not that interesting an angle, you know? Yeah, so we got Norman, we got, what else has been happening? Um, Now, I'm trying to put myself out there in the comedy world a little bit, and it sucks. I don't like it. I don't like putting myself out there. I really don't. I'm developing this sort of arrogance in a way. I do believe that I have potential to be incredible, and in some ways I'm pretty good already. But I do have the potential in me, I believe, to be even much better. And there's also this element of like just like anger, you know, frustration that I'm not already a booked, you know, headlining act. I don't believe I should be classified right now as a proper headliner, but I believe that I should be at least given like seeing spots, opening spots. I'm really fucking good, you know. And how do you get better? Well, you get given opportunities, you know. It's like you know, the classic like how do you get a job? You get experience. How do you get experience? You get a job type of thing, you know. It's like I feel like the barriers for me are so much higher than an average fucking generic white guy, you know. And it's not just about race. It's obviously about, you know, the fact that I'm autistic and eccentric, and people generally, I think, they might view me as less professional because I have so many like interests. But I happen to be good at a bunch of things. I happen to be a solid video editor. I happen to be a pretty good graphic designer, illustrator. It still says 48 stunt jumps remaining, but I feel like it should have been less. You know, I like to stream. I'm pretty good at like just talking to the wild. I do have like my issues, right? Like for example, I don't have a girlfriend, a long-term romantic partner, and I would like to have one. Too close. But yeah, I currently don't. Another issue I have is I've been unemployed. Like I haven't had a formal job since 2022. You know, I don't have a car, and you know, little things like that. Yeah, but hopefully with time I can overcome these obstacles. And, you know, grow as a person. Figure that shit out too. I just, I don't know. I guess my version of the essentials is very different from the standard. Because if you look at like something like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it's like shelter and community and food and sleep, I guess. But for me, it's like part of it, like part of one of my biggest essentials in life is just having a fucking dream. I know with Maslow, he puts self-actualization as like the top of the pyramid, which implies that you need to fulfill every other need before you get to the top with things like self-actualization, yeah? But for me, it's like, dude, the dream is like, it's one of the number one priorities in life. Having a fucking dream, like, is so important. And for me, like, letting go of my dreams, like, in some ways, it almost fucking killed me. Like, and I'm not exaggerating. I nearly fucking killed myself because of the way I sort of lost my connection to the future and to hope. And like I'm very proud to say that I regained what I lost, and I got even more. So around 2021 and 2022, I lost a lot. Yeah, I lost a lot of friendships. I lost a lot of you know, like connections, and a lot of issues happened those 2 years in particular. Yeah, and in 2023, I I started out. So I left New Zealand. I came back to Sydney at the start of 2022 after leaving Sydney in like April. Yeah, so about a couple of months in New Zealand. Yeah, so I came back mid-December of 2022, and 2023 I was like kind of rebuilding myself in Sydney, I studied design for pretty much the entirety of the year. Yeah. And then 2024, I studied music for a while too. I studied like one semester, and then I did another like half semester close to it. Had a mental breakdown, went to a psych ward. But after the psych ward, I moved to a terrible share house, which also sucked. But after the terrible share house, I moved to a studio apartment in St. Peter's in Sydney. So because I was close to the inner west, I was able to go to a lot more comedy shows. And yeah, that's when I kind of got back into comedy. So like May last year, roughly.
Thanks. Hope you have a great
Thing.
day.
So it's been now almost like almost the 1 year anniversary of me like getting back into comedy after a long fucking break. And at first, like it was like I was doing like dog shit material. I had like nothing. And then gradually things came back to me. It was hard, but it was good. I also stopped taking my medication. Like I was forced, basically peer pressured
Oh no, I'm so
by an
sorry.
uneducated doctor. Fair, not uneducated, of course I have a education. But like they were ignorant of me and my needs. So they kind of forced me to take these fucking intense antipsychotic drugs. These intense antipsychotic drugs under the assumption that I'm like, like losing my fucking mind. But the truth is I was just really upset because of the circumstances. You know? Once my circumstances improved, I felt like I didn't really need the drugs. So I stopped taking them. I stopped taking them, and like 1 week went by, 2 weeks went by, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, etc., etc. And now it's been like several months since I've taken my medication, and I feel much better. I didn't like it. I didn't like the feeling I had when I was on them, and I stopped. I've also lost a bunch of weight since being off my medication. So listen, I know medication can be helpful for some, but for me, like, it just wasn't necessary. For me, like, swimming has done so much more for me than any fucking medication. And I don't swim that good, I only took my third lesson ever today. So, but I'm still, like, just going in the water, just doing little bits of just walking in the water can help. To burn calories, you feel good, you're pushing yourself. It's really good.
You got lucky, buddy.
That car's a
Hey,
beaut.
dude, what's up?
I'm in a situation now where,
Shit, how can I help
I'm frustrated. I do experience daily frustration, but I feel like I'm in more control. I feel more in control now than I have before. Okay, so we have a blue car. I'm curious what that blue represents. Now, is that like one of the characters' cars? Because obviously you can see that it's. Oh, right. So I think you can like steal a car as Michael and put it in your garage. I assume that's the case, because obviously that's Michael's crib. So it's a weird thing. Like the crib means a house that you live in, but it also means like a little thing that you put a baby in, like a crib. Yeah. And babies, they're kind of lucky because they're so small. They need so little space. And then they start getting bigger. And they get bigger, and they get bigger, and they gotta get a bigger bed. You gotta get clothes that fit all the time, Logistically, it's hard. Okay, is that not it, or I don't get it?
Anyone home?
I don't get what the blue car represents. Is that supposed to be like my car? I think that's my post button. I've been talking to Gemini every day for like at least an hour a day, and like I know there's some sort of concern on the internet, like that if you talk to a chat bot, it'll suck up to you too much and like make you feel delusional. And maybe I am getting some of those symptoms actually, because I did notice myself telling my friend yesterday, like, man, I think I'm gonna be, I think I can be the best. But at the same time, it's like I only said that I can be the best. So I said that I have potential for greatness, not that I currently am the best. I also made a claim that says I'm better than Mark Norman, and you know, this is what I believe to be true. I believe that right now Mark Norman's output and his, you know, like his discography, I guess, his body of work, it's better than it dwarfs. But that's also because he started much earlier. I believe he started in 2005. My first open mic was in 2014, right? So he started around the age of 20, I believe, in New York City. And you know, starting in New York City at a young age, man, like it gives you such a fucking huge advantage. You know, and he stuck with it for a long time. And I respect that, but at the same time, like, let's not forget, like Mark Norman is a, he was for the longest time a massive booze bag. He was a chronic alcoholic, and he was very reckless. Same with his buddy Joe List. They both had issues with alcoholism, and that definitely impaired like their career. So, you know, I feel like that's probably one of the issues with like being overly into the New York comedy scene. Is like they probably, if I had to guess, they don't want to pay you real money, so they pay you in booze. And because like you're doing all these shows with the assumption that you're not worthy of money yet, so they'll give you a lot of booze, you know, you probably kind of become an alcoholic because of that. Especially if like the bartenders love you and they just like pour you like spirits with extra shots, double, triple shots, and stuff like that. If I had to guess, I would say that's probably what happened with Norman with most throughout. Because you know they would have been like doing all this like you know part-time work that paid dick. You know, apparently Norman was a janitor at some point. So you know, like you did, right? Like there's nothing to do, you know, outside of your job and stand up. You know, maybe you're depressed. You know, you're bummed out. You know, you just drown out your sorrows. So I guess in a way I am lucky that I was in Sydney because even though Sydney has issues, and there are absolutely many degenerate alcoholics in Sydney, in general, I've found it's not really that tempting to drink here. Number one, because booze is very expensive. Number two, because I just always felt the desire to do other stuff, you know? Like whether it's like just doing tennis with my dad, or going for a really long walk, or just like learning something new. I always like try to pick up new info, learning Python. I've been learning French and Mandarin recently. And, you know, there's just something enjoyable about doing that. I recently created a video on TikTok, just me saying a bunch of Mandarin words, just so I can just say it, you know, and there's not that many. You know, like cafe means coffee, cha means tea, cha means hot tea, I think. Cha means and tea. So cafe, cha means coffee and tea. You know, it's been a while since I've streamed actually because, you know, obviously this isn't like my number one priority. And usually, in the past few days, I've just not been playing that many video games. Just usually, if I play a video game for like a little bit, and then I'm like, okay, I feel warmed up. I feel like I'm ready to talk to the internet now. And then you know, I love the streaming because it's pretty seamless. Anyway, I think that'll do for now. I don't really want to talk anymore, but yeah.